Coming up next, 3 areas that have increased hiring as a result of the coronavirus. And then what we can learn from quarterback Alex Smith's broken leg and our broken dreams. It all starts right now. I am coming to you live from our Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you have joined a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you can do that, where you want to do that, and then the all-important part of this dream journey, how to make the dream a reality. How do you get there? So excited to have you with us. It's a different kind of talk radio show. Thrilled to bring it to you via YouTube live here, and that means it's a very different experience than our radio audience gets, and that is that you can engage via the chat room. You can encourage others. You can submit your questions. And a couple times, we'll get to a couple of chats, rather, during the show. They'll fire them to my laptop, so feel free to fire away. And you can call. You're watching right now. Maybe you've been watching for a while. You want to call in to get some clarity, get some breakthrough, but you're a little bit nervous. Trust me. Give me a chance. You have the answers. I promise. It's my job to dig them out of you or give you the steps to go get the answers. And we're going to walk with you on this journey. One of the things I'm proud of on this program is that we've had many people call back a second time, a third time, as they continue to make progress. And so this show is for you. It's about you. It's about your purpose, because you were created to fill a unique role through your work. You are needed. You must do it. And we're going to look at the work aspect of your life, working on purpose. And by the way, when you are on purpose in your work, you'll see that it affects your personal life in a very positive way as well. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577 is the number. I want to start off the program with some great information as we strive to do each day, bringing you some current information, whether it be data or news that affects you, the worker. CNBC put out a story titled, "Business Leaders See Increased Hiring in These 3 Areas Following the Coronavirus." The research comes from consulting firm McKinsey & Company. They surveyed 800 business executives globally about where they plan to increase hiring. So here we go. 83% of employers said they plan to hire for more health and safety roles in the coming months. So obviously the concern about future viruses, how long corona is going to stay around, keep rearing its nasty little head. So there's obviously going to be new positions hired in this area. 68% of the respondents said they expected to hire more technology and automation professionals. The most sought after areas of expertise in this technology and automation space of work includes artificial intelligence, so AI, digital customer experience, the internet, and the cloud. So those areas, if you're somebody who's going, hey, I love technology, where's that going to expand? What are some really good areas of focus in the technology space? Well, there you go. 45% executives said they anticipated increasing hiring for digital learning and agile ways of working. Growing roles in that space relates to agile working, which, by the way, the first time I have seen this term, agile working, but it is what you think it is. Making it easy for a company's employees to work from different places under different environments. This is really coming from what leaders are experiencing, what they're learning from uncertainty. And so this is really interesting. Agile working, it's a whole new term. Digital learning, training, and then HR, digital, and remote hiring. 7 in 10, I wanted to give you this extra piece of data. 7 in 10 executives said they expect to employ more contractors and temporary workers in the next 2 years as a result, again, of the pandemic. And I think going forward, how can we learn from the pandemic and the uncertainty that it brought, and then apply it to maybe calmer times. So again, I bring that up because of those of you who are more open to contract work, where essentially you work for yourself, but you farm yourself out. And then those of you who go, I want to get back to work, but I don't want to go full time. Temporary workers is going to be a growing opportunity. So that is good news for you. 844-747-2577 is the phone number to jump in. Let's go. We'll go to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania first, and that's where Justine is. Justine, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet, Justine. How can I help?
So basically, after 12 years of being employed at a bank, I am unemployed for the first time. And I'm trying to find jobs, but they're very parallel to what I'm doing or what my experience is. I wanted to go back into the IT field, and I find myself at an impasse because I have no IT experience. I have mortgage experience. I don't have my NMLS, but I do have the experience of loans, doing underwriting and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would be a good idea to switch jobs last year, and I did. And it was a mistake because I just got fired about a month ago. And, it's pretty rough. I haven't gotten unemployment yet, but I am one of the lucky people that, saved my whole life. And I have, a big chunk of money that I'm not really sure what to do with and what would be like a strategic move with.
Okay.
Now, I'm kind of looking for just some advice on where to go.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about that money thing, because the money is going to dictate our timeline. Okay. So are you single, double income? I know you're not double income now, but are you married? Or are you just single? What's the story?
I'm single. I have my mortgage is about $600 a month, and I do have my sister living with me right now for school, and I get rental income from her.
Oh, good. So how much is she paying?
$400 a month.
Okay, so you're only $200 a month, and you have no other debt?
I have a car that's about $12,000, and the mortgage that I owe is about $60,000.
Okay, how much savings do you have?
In my savings account, I probably have about $5,000, and then in my retirement's about $40,000.
All right. Well, we're not touching retirement. So you really only have $5,000, and so what is that? Is that 2 months' expenses?
Well, I also have a mutual fund that has $7,000 in it.
Yeah, but again, I don't want you to ever touch anything like that because you're going to get taxed on it, right? Okay. So any cash you wipe it out, because after taxes, it's just leave that alone. You're in good shape. You're young with the mutual fund and then the retirement account, so you're not going to touch that. You got $5,000. So how much? What's your monthly expenses? In other words, how long will the $5,000 last if you're not working, bringing any income in?
Well, with the unemployment, I should kind of break about even at what I was making. Okay. But I'm
all right. Good.
Trying to figure out, do I,
All right. Well, here's the deal. Yes, I want you to get qualified. I think you're very clear. So stage 1 of my 7 stages to meaningful work is get clear. You want to do technology work. There might be a little bit of extra clarity you need to get, which is what's the exact type of technology work, or if we can't get exact, we go, well, I want to be over in this area. Do you know that? What area would you go into, or what specific role would you love to have if I could just give it to you today?
Based on my experience, I feel that I'm more into problem solving and critical thinking, where a majority of my career I did a lot of everything. So I was in banking up front with customers, where I feel like a lot of my skill sets and what I've honed over the years, I think, and my personality is more analytical and problem solving. So that's kind of why I was going down the route of IT, and also because it was an interest of mine when I was younger in school.
I love it. I'm so happy right now. That's what you want to do. So I think I want you to, there's 2 things. One, I want you going all in every spare second that you have, researching, asking questions of people that are in the technology space that you want to be in. So who are those problem solvers? So in the technology world, the analysis and problem solving, those are your 2 key buckets that kept coming up. And so in technology, what are the roles that are heavy on the analyst side, and then problem solving as a result of that analysis? And you know what those are. So let's get really clear on the type of roles, and then what does that look like over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What's the ladder look like? Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So do you have an example for me, a specific example?
I was thinking like more of like a BSA analyst, like someone that works for a bank but has
Perfect.
I want to say something like that type of job that does more on the back end.
Okay, great. So here's the deal. You have to dive into that and learn everything that you can learn about it in the sense of what does it take to get qualified? Because that's stage 2. That's where you are. Because you've got all this in banking, or even in if we go outside of banking and just go into the world in general, you could work for a great investment firm and do technology for them. So whatever you decide, that banking experience is not to be discounted. I don't want you to discount that, because you understanding the touch points with the customer, understanding the needs of the customer, and then being on the back side of it, don't you think that's going to make you a better analyst and a better problem solver, knowing what the customer actually wants and needs?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got all fired up just pitching you. I'm on Team Justine. I mean, you should record that and play that in your next interview. I'm joking, Justine. You went all serious on me. All right.
I've got a lot on my mind.
I know. All right, so listen, here's the deal. Getting qualified. There's the questions you have to answer. You ready? You got something to write with?
Yeah.
Okay, there's 4 things, all right? Number 1 is, what do I need to learn? That's the actual education piece, and I'm not saying it's a degree. It could be, it may not be, and I don't think it is. In fact, I know it's not in technology. I know that I'm very excited to announce a partnership coming very soon where the Ken Coleman Show is going to be just enthusiastically endorsing a company that can train you in a small amount of time, and you're going to get really good technology jobs, folks. So that's coming. But Justine, it's just simply going, all right, what technical education do I need to get to be able to be qualified? So what do I need to learn? That's the education question. The second question is, what experience are they going to want? So there's probably going to need to be some entry-level stuff that you need, which means you get an entry-level technology job. Okay, so that's what do I need to do? That's the experience question. Third question is, how much is this going to cost me, the process of getting qualified or taking an entry-level position? That's the economic question. The last question is, how long is it going to take for me to get there? That's the expectation question. So those are the 4 questions in stage 2 that you need to answer and then do, and you're ready to step into stage 3, which is get connected. And then, you could, as you're getting educated and you're getting the experience and all that, you keep getting connections and using the proximity principle, and then you get the opportunities to really step into the work that you want to do. So that's where you sit right now. And I think that I'm okay with unemployment for a small amount of time, but I would not rely on it. I think I just don't think it's good for you psychologically, which means it eventually won't be good for you emotionally. But I'm okay with that benefit for a time. But if you've got to go work at a technology company in some other position that's entry level while you're getting qualified for the actual technology position, that could be a good move too, and keep bringing in income.
I see what you mean.
You got it?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You bet. We've got a very, very clear path for you that we've outlined. So go do it. And before you know it, Justine, I'm hoping you're calling me back doing a dream screen because you stepped into your dream job. So thank you so much for calling. By the way, our dream screen, this program's 3 years old. And so we're helping a lot of folks. And so you don't have as many people stepping into the dream job because of the amount of time it takes. However, we've had several. And it's a real special time where folks call in, share the story where they were, what they decided, why they decided, what they started to do, the journey, and then what it feels like to step into that dream job. We call it the dream scream. If that's you and you're close or you've already done it, email us, ask@kencoleman.com. That's ask@kencoleman.com, and we'll line you up for a dream screen. You'll tell us the story. At the end, we count you down from 3, 2, 1, and you say really loudly, we like you to scream if you can, I'm living the dream, okay? So askkencoleman.com is the email address. 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's now go to Monroe, Louisiana, where Seth joins us. Seth, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for taking my call today.
You bet. How can I help?
So I'm starting to question my career path after the recent unexpected loss of my father.
Oh, Seth, I'm so sorry.
Oh, thanks. So right now I am working as a store manager for a cell phone company. And it takes a lot away from my family. I work a lot of hours, and the work-life balance isn't great.
Mm-hmm.
I am in baby step 2. So I'm considering trying to find an apprenticeship for barbering. But I don't know if I'm just overreacting because, I almost, missed the last chance to see my father because of this job.
Yeah.
Or if I need to stick it out because I'm in baby step 2 and I'm overreacting, or if this is a good time to make that jump.
I think you're on a good path mentally. But I don't think it's going to be one of those, well, I just stop working at the cell phone store until we've got something to step into. But the minute you've got something else to step into that may not even be the dream, the barbering, okay, we're going to walk through this in a second, but I just want to give you the quick answer so that you have an overview of what we're going to break down here.
Okay.
I don't want you to, because you're hurting right now and losing your father and the very idea that you almost missed him, that's big stuff. And because of that job, and you go, man, life's way more important. And so that's a very normal reaction. It's not because you're oversensitive. It's not because, you're processing this the wrong way. I think you're processing it the right way. Anytime we lose a loved one, it reminds us of the preciousness of life in the terms of how quickly it goes and how quickly it can go. And it does a masterful job of making us refocus, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah.
It absolutely does. And so you're not abnormal. The question is, are you married? Are you single?
I'm married.
Okay. And so are you the sole income or double income?
It's double income. We've, my wife and I, when we started having this discussion of a potential career change, we kind of added up all of our bills and what minimum payments would be if we kind of paused the debt snowball for a while.
Yeah.
And on her income alone, we could, make it happen as long as I was bringing in something. Her income would cover all of our bills, all of that kind of stuff.
But that would
have something to contribute.
Right, but that would require you to pause the baby steps, and we don't want to do that unless it's an absolute emergency situation. So,
right.
But it's good. It's a good exercise. All right. So, how much debt do you have left in baby step 2?
I think it's around $15,000.
Wow. And what's the payoff date if nothing changes? If you don't leave and you keep your income, what's the anticipated payoff date?
It would be around this time next year.
Wow. Boy, that feels good, huh?
Yeah, it feels really great.
And you're close. You're really close. Okay,
yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to walk through this quickly because I think this is a straightforward strategy. How much do you make managing that store?
Between $50,000 and $60,000 a year. It's there is a commission element. So
okay, got it. All right, and is the dream for you to eventually be a barber and maybe own your own shop? Tell me why you're thinking about apprenticing for a barber.
So, to be honest with you, I know you've heard this a lot because I listen to your show, but I don't really. I'm kind of working on like what the dream job would be.
Okay.
But I look at, what I'm good at, like I'm good at this job. Like, I don't mean to toot my own horn or whatever, but
no, I want you to toot your own horn.
I know I'm good at this job.
Yeah.
But I think what makes me good is my ability to like build relationships, like make people feel good.
Yeah.
And that kind of like coaching element of being a manager.
Yeah.
And so, I'm looking for ways that I can apply that, but not necessarily be in the retail space because I feel like that's what I hate about this job.
Yeah, it's the hours. It's the hours.
Yeah.
Let me just put it this way. If I plucked you out of your job today and I put you in a management role in a 9-to-5 scenario, what do you think your happiness level would be with the work itself?
I think it kind of depends on the management position. If the pressure of like sales goals and stuff is really tough for me.
All right. But tell me, give me a management environment where you would be excited.
Something like if I could do like project management, like an IT company.
All right. That's what I want you to start looking into. Because you listen to my show enough to know I don't need to walk you through what I do, but you know what you're good at. You just told us. You're really good at connecting with people. You're good. That means you're good at listening. That means you're good at communicating. Stop me if I start to say something wrong. Okay? And you're good at problem solving. A lot of times people problem solving. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Are you also a detailed problem solver as well? You get into details, see details well, very organized?
I think so.
Do you enjoy execution? You get a lot of joy out of seeing a list get finished?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you really enjoy leading people too. You're not an introvert.
Right.
Yeah. I would look for, you've got a lot of great management experience in a retail environment that I think is very transferable to other industries. Mm-hmm. And so I think you're looking for other management positions starting today.
Okay.
But don't walk away. I don't think it makes sense right now for you to walk away, because I believe in the next 2 to 3 months, you're probably already got a new position in leadership or management somewhere else. And even if it's not the dream job, okay, that's all right, because you're healing from your father and the loss of your father. And so I'm okay with you spending some more time in stage 1, which is get clear. But we know at least that you would enjoy a management role. And so I'd look for that. And even if it's a lateral move, making 50 to 60, you guys are going to be able to pay off your debt in a year. And that's a game changer. And you're not working the crazy hours. And that would be a wonderful, wonderful aid to your healing. More time with the family. So that's the approach. Don't leave yet until you replace it. But the minute you replace it, and I'd get after it, man, like this is your number one goal in life, is to replace this current management position. All right?
Okay.
All right, man. Listen, I'm sorry for your loss. And I can tell you that healing is around the corner. But you cannot let the pain that you're experiencing make you consider decisions that aren't wise for you. None of us, when we are hurting or in pain, are in a place where we can make really great decisions. And so in a situation like this, we want to pause. We want to focus on healing. And as we begin to heal, then we can get great perspective. And as it turns out, I'm going to be teaching on this in just a couple of minutes. What can we learn from Washington quarterback Alex Smith? His shattered leg and our shattered dreams. Some really good stuff I'm going to share with you. And it's going to inspire those of you who right now feel like your dream has been taken away from you, that's gone. And I'm going to tell you it's not. But I'm going to tell you what you can learn from this inspiring story that we all saw play out on Sunday. First to the chat room, we'll take a couple quick questions. JLT writes in, Ken, what part-time jobs do you recommend for a retiree in their 60s? Well, I don't think it has anything to do with your 60s or even being a retiree. It should still be what we teach every day on this program, which is, what are you good at? Over a career, what are the skills that you bring to the table? The top skills, what you do best. What's the work that you always love to do in your career? Or maybe you long to do this type of work and you never did it, because as a retiree, now you have options. You have a lot more time and flexibility. There's no pressure. It's a part-time job. And even if you have to say, well, I was an executive, I don't want to do that work anymore, but what did you love most about being an executive? And where can I find that in the workplace? And let me give you an example, just because they're great friends of mine and I love Chick-fil-A, but I give Chick-fil-A as an example. Let's say that you're in your 60s and you're a retiree, and what you've always been good at is connecting with people. You've always been good at leading or guiding or empathy or compassion or whatever it is. And you begin to think through what you have always been good at and what you love to do. And you say, well, could I go to a place like that in a retail restaurant space and play a part-time role, mentoring 16, 17-year-old kids, loving on families, whatever it is. But find ways to do it on a smaller scale. And I think if you do that exercise, you'll find lots of places where you could come in as a part-time role and really do something that you love. Dan writes in, does getting turned down for promotion affect me not getting a career in my desired field? No, it delays it. I mean, anytime you look at, well, I was up for a promotion that would have moved me up the ladder. I didn't get it. So does it take it away from me? No, it just delays it. So dust yourself off, find a new opportunity, a new ladder, and keep stepping. Stay on the ladder as long as you need to step to the next rung. It does not take it away. It simply is a delay. 844-747-2577 is the number. All right, so for you non-football fans, don't check out because this is actually extremely relevant to you. But I want to set the story for what I'm about to teach you because I was inspired like millions and millions of football fans this last Sunday watching football, and Alex Smith, who was a former number 1 NFL draft pick out of Utah, and he is now with the Washington football team. By the way, Madison, I had to really pause there because for years they've been known as a name that has now been deemed offensive.
I know, but I love it.
Did you see how I had to slow down there?
I know. I was like looked up at you like, oh.
Yeah, like the Washington, pause. And I had to pause. Well, anyway, so now they're the Washington football team.
Very generic. I love it.
Very generic. Very hard for a lifelong NFL fan to not say their former name.
Go football team.
But this is the world we live in, and I'm just trying to get along. All right, so anyway, he was their starting quarterback 3 years ago. Has one of the most gruesome fractures of a leg that we've ever seen. And not only was it a gruesome fracture due to the nature of how bad the break was on the field, he's laying there for probably 20, 25 minutes before they get him off the field. And they take him to surgery immediately. But as he was laying on the field, they learn later that obviously there's bacteria everywhere, and he gets a dangerous skin-eating bacteria, staph infection. And it's really serious. Well, it keeps getting more serious in the few 3, 4, 5, 6 days after the surgery. This thing is really aggressive to the point, folks. If you don't know the story, they had to take large chunks of his leg out and it still wouldn't go away. And I thought they were going to have to amputate his leg to save his life. Now, I want you to just sit here for a second and understand how devastating this is to a world-class athlete, a number 1 draft pick. He's made $150 million in his career, so he doesn't need the money. He just wants to play football, and he's laying there, and they look at him and go, we're going to have to take your leg. If this doesn't get better, we're going to have to take your leg to save your life. Well, as the story goes, they took enough out of the leg, they got it under control, but his leg was decimated. You can go research this. E60 with ESPN did a documentary on this, and it's not for the faint of heart or weak of stomach, I'll tell you that. But the story is unbelievably inspiring. And so that's what happened to him. He was just hoping to walk again, folks. So he goes through a gruesome healing process and then rehab. And last Sunday, after having been cleared after 3 years that he could play due to the circumstances of the team, and the quarterback in front of him gets hurt, knocked out from a concussion, and he comes in. Unbelievable. By the way, Joe, Madison, I was watching it when it happened, and I was so nervous. I've never been that nervous to watch a quarterback drop back and get sacked. I mean, I was just an absolute bundle of nerves. And we all collectively worried for him because we all, those of us who know the story, have been so inspired by this journey. And so his leg was shattered, and with it, almost his dream. But what does that mean for you all that are watching that right now? As you're watching, you're going, COVID crushed my dream. I can't even see a future, Ken. I'm just trying to make it through today. 3 things that I've learned and you need to learn from Alex Smith about your shattered dream. After the initial shock and pain, he's laying there on the field, gets to the hospital. At some point, the shock wears off, and now it's excruciating pain. And some of you are right there right now. You've been in shock, and now the pain of rejection, the pain of loss has set in, and it's killing you. Alex Smith went through 17 surgeries. You're going to have to go through a lot of stuff to get restored. But there are 3 things that we need to do when our dream has been shattered. Number 1, you've got to get healthy first. You've got to get healthy. In those initial days and weeks, it was all about saving his life, saving his leg, beating the infection, the 17 surgeries to take muscle and tendons and ligaments from other parts of the body and reconstruct his leg. It was all about getting healthy first. That's what you must do first. When you've been destroyed, the dreams have been destroyed, you must get healthy because you're in shock and you're in pain. And by the way, when we get healthy, it gives us strength. Watch what I'm doing here. When we get healthy, now we get the strength we need for the journey. The second thing we've got to do is we've got to get refocused. After Alex Smith goes through multiple surgeries and he knows that A, he's going to live, and B, he's got hope that he's going to walk again, what does he begin to do? He begins to refocus on, I'd like to try to play in the NFL again. And that's you going, all right, my dream's not dead. That's still the mountain I want to climb. And I want to take another shot at climbing that mountain. That gives us hope. Getting refocused gives us hope. When we get our eyes back on that mountain, we say, that's the dream. That's what I want to do. I know I failed. I've been delayed. I've been discouraged, but that's it. And when we get our eyes up and we look up at the mountain that we want to climb, it gives us hope that we can get there. And we need that hope. So we've got strength through healing. We've got hope through refocusing. The final thing you need to do is to get restored. To get restored. Alex Smith was restored on one level when he got cleared to play and he made the team. But his restoration was complete on Sunday when they said, Alex, you're in. And he grabbed his helmet and he ran out onto the field. The entire journey of the devastating break and the devastating loss and the devastating shock and the devastating pain gets restored in that moment where he walks out and he played and he didn't get hurt and he finished the game. You got to get restored. And the reason I chose that word restored, restoring the dream, and really it's not restoring the dream, it's that you reach that dream and you are restored, is because I love watching these car restoration shows. I love watching these house restoration shows. And I've told you folks that I'm not handy at all. I could barely turn a screwdriver. I recently restored a 1972 convertible Carmen Ghia that my dad had, and I got to tell you, seeing how beat up that thing was in the garage and where it sits today in my garage, there's something beautiful about restoration. Why? Because we saw a car or a house, and we knew what it used to look like, but it has fallen into destruction and disrepair. And when we restore it, and we see, there it is on the screen. Look at that baby, huh? Isn't that beautiful? Well, it didn't look like that when I got it out of my dad's garage. I look at that and I get goosebumps. Just as we got goosebumps when Alex Smith ran out on the field, and just as those who know you will get goosebumps when they see you step into that dream despite the devastation that you're facing now. Now you have a story. And it is our story that inspires and touches and changes others. The very destruction you're in now, if you get healthy, you'll have the strength. If you get refocused, you'll have hope. And once you get restored, you step into that. Now you got a story. And it won't even be about the journey. It'll be about the story of the journey to others. You'll have all of the great things from the journey, but it will be others who say, wow, I can't believe that. What a story. And that's what Alex Smith has done for millions of football fans and people worldwide, is his story inspires us. So for those of you right now that are watching, you're discouraged, you're defeated. Your dream, I'm telling you, is not dead. Do what it takes to get healthy. And as you're getting healthy, then begin to refocus. Stay the course, and you will be restored. That dream will be realized, and you will be restored. And what will come out of that is the very thing that we all long for, which is meaning and significance, because we have made a difference. And I'm telling you, as I start with every show, you were created to fill a unique role. You are needed. You must do it. And even though you are in pain, there is joy on the other side of that. Keep walking through the storm. There's peace on the other side. There's impact on the other side. Don't quit, please. Whatever. Do not quit. Well, my time is almost up, but before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.